DevOps, what are the benefits? Of course, there are many benefits. There's one of the best references that highlights benefits on an annual basis. In fact, there's a document called the State of DevOps Report. It's changed titles and over the years, but this is the 10th iteration. The 2024 was the 10th issue of the State of DevOps Report. And this one is by the Accelerate. There are other publishers of State of DevOps reports like Puppet and so on, but this tends to be kind of the somewhat official version. They're all pretty compatible. They summarize, the results of some surveys, pretty extensive surveys across the worldwide DevOps community. So the DORA is the DevOps Research Association. This is sort of the more official version, but again, you'll find these online for free. And they identify, among other things, what are the key benefits at any point in time that people are reporting. So what does this report say? Well, it says many things, but according to the report, the highest performing, what they call elite performing organizations have 182 times more frequent code deployments than the lesser performing DevOps organizations. Also 127 times faster lead time, the lead time being measured from the time code change is committed to continuous integration until it's deployed to production. 2,293 times faster to recover from incidents once they occur in production, and 8 times lower change failure rates. So they're 8 times less likely to fail in production compared to the lower performing organizations. So these are pretty interesting numbers. I always find it remarkable how they have so many significant digits. As an engineer, I know that's a little bit, unrealistic, I suppose, but the message is still clear, right? There's a dramatic difference between the performance of organizations that are doing DevOps well at the so-called elite level compared to those that are not at the lower end. So that's a remarkable difference. And these 4 metrics are in fact the key DevOps metrics. There are many other possible metrics, but the most standardized metrics, if you can call it a standard, the most popular ones, let's say, are the DORA metrics, which are the frequency of deployments, the lead time from commit to deploy, the number of times recovery time, and lower change failure rate. So these are the 4 key DORA metrics and these major benefits of those doing DevOps versus those that are not. So this is a continuation of some of the results of that, the State of DevOps reports. Technology-driven teams need ways to measure performance in order to assess how they are doing today so they can prioritize improvements and validate progress. DORA has repeatedly validated 4 software delivery metrics, providing an effective way of measuring outcomes of the software delivery process. And that's a very key point, and I found that to be true. Those 4 metrics are kind of minimum must do because they really are giving you data about how well your DevOps is doing and what the outcomes are in particular. They may not be great for diagnosing problems because they're really outcome metrics, but they do help determine where you are relative to others at least. DORA's 4 keys have been used to measure the throughput and stability of software changes, including changes of any kind, including changes to configurations, as well as changes to code. So the infrastructure as well as the application themselves. And the final chart on this State of DevOps benefits. So let's start with the diagram. DevOps helps with reducing toilsome work. Toil meaning work that is laborious and tedious, and in and of itself is kind of non-valued work. By automation in particular, the toil of, let's say, software delivery and deployment is reduced. Increases the amount of valuable work because you can take those time savings and reallocate them to innovation and getting more value out of your value streams. And also DevOps can be applied most recently in this world of AI, whether it's machine learning AI, which has been used in monitoring and observability for many years, and more recently generative AI can help with automation. So DevOps and AI really go hand in hand and work very well together. As a summary of this, AI is having a very broad effect and impact on many things. Flow, so improving the flow of software changes from developers to production. That's actually the first way of DevOps. Productivity, getting more work done for unit of effort and cost because it's more efficient. Job satisfaction, that's a very important one. It's been proven again and again that organizations that are doing DevOps well, the people tend to be more satisfied than those that are not doing DevOps well. Part of that, I think, is the idea of getting rapid feedback on your work and having a chance to focus on improvements instead of the toil aspects of the delivery. Improved code quality, which is a little bit of a surprise to some. When you accelerate the time to market, there's always a risk that you could reduce the quality if you don't do a thorough job. If you only reduce the amount of testing, for example, that could end up with faster time to market but lower quality. Well, of course, with DevOps, that's not an idea. You actually try to improve code quality while you're improving time to market through things like automation and CI/CD. It also improves documentation. You tend to get more relevant documentation for internal processes and even the product. Why does that happen? It happens because you've got, again, more time for documentation. Also, you tend to get a little more deliberate because you're focused more on what you're doing rather than just the process of doing it. Improved review process, you're getting more data because of the metrics of what, it can be more data-driven organization, which is really important to leadership. Most importantly, you get overall improved team performance, which as a DevOps leader or any leader, you really do care about. Overall organization performance, whether you're a DevOps leader or executive leader, everybody should care about that. So the neat thing is DevOps, when done well, provides all of these things compared to some of the earlier, at least some of the implementations of earlier frameworks like waterfall and so on, where you often found yourself trading off some of these things for other things.